everybody. Welcome to our podcast.
This is Confidently Controversial, the podcast. And I'm Kim Tweed.
And I'm Emily Paul.
And we make a podcast about movies that might have been a little nuts in our youth.
Yes.
Right?
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah, and we enjoy talking about movies and watching them and then telling you about them.
Yeah, and you like it.
You do. You
Trust
like
me.
it. You like what we
You
have
do.
to say and how we say it.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But the first part of the podcast is just me and Kim,
That's right.
best friends shooting the shit.
And we've got so much to say.
We do have a lot to say.
We're a little off our game. I've been up for almost 2 days. No.
What, you haven't slept?
No, I have. It's just, I've been up since like 5 o'clock this morning. We're doing the podcast a little later. Emily overslept. We're all different today.
We are a little different because even though I overslept, I'm very tired feeling.
Yeah, it happens.
I know. I hate it. I hate when I mess up my wake up in the morning. And I did wake up early, but then I fell
You're so hard on yourself about it, though. You need the sleep.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I'm forgiving myself right now.
This is the third day in a row I've seen your face.
I know. I love it.
I know.
We get to hang
What's
out.
happening?
What's happening is we're getting better about being friends.
Oh,
We finally perfected it after so many years.
I'm not good at this, but, here we are.
Well, yesterday was fun. So yesterday we went to Atlantic City.
We did.
Not to gamble, but Kim was my emotional support.
Yes.
As I ran a race.
Yes, she did, and she did a really good job.
And you made a friend.
I did. Sandra. Shout out to Sandra.
And you were there cheering for me at the end. And it was nice.
Yeah, I was totally extroverted. I was cheering for all these people that were running races, and I was like, go, you're almost there. You've got this. Good job. You can do it.
Yeah, races are very positive. They're a positive culture.
Yeah, although I feel like some of the runners were not happy with my positivity.
I don't think, like I said to you before, I just think that sometimes runners are just in the zone and to like change their expression or to move their arms or do anything else is just going to mess them up.
There were some people, like we were, me and Sandra, we were right by like the part where it switched over to the beach.
Yeah.
So we were trying to give people like, motivation to be able to run on that sand.
I was really worried that I was going to have to run on that sand for a long time, but luckily it's like you went on the sand, went over a dune, and the finish line was right there.
Yeah.
But it's running on sand. If you haven't done it before, I don't recommend it.
No. And then some man, he finished that race in like 27 minutes or something.
It was crazy.
27?
It was
29?
in the 20s. It was like
29?
27, I think.
Yeah, that's 5 miles.
I know. It was crazy. I mean, he was really cooking.
That's almost a 5-minute mile, which my understanding as a non-runner is very fast.
It's very fast. It's very fast. I'm always amazed by people who can run like that because it's crazy. I just feel like you're just built, everybody's built in a different way. And there are just people who are built to be able to run really fast miles like that. Like, I don't think I could ever in my entire life have achieved that. I just don't think I'm built to run. I mean, when I was younger and I ran, in high school, I could run a pretty fast mile.
Sure.
But never that.
But just one, right?
Well, yeah, like 1 mile I could run pretty fast, but then I feel like even in cross country, like I would run the cross country course pretty fast, in my day.
Interesting.
But I still don't think, I think that there's like this window that my body is capable of doing.
Sure.
That just, you can't break free of that.
Well, it's interesting because runners, they do come in all shapes and sizes. They really do.
It's just about wanting to do it. I think that's just the difference between it's either you are fascinated by running far and you have the ability and the desire to do it, or you're just like, why would anyone do this?
It's not a skill-based game.
It's not skill-based. It's just you have to be fascinated by it and want to do it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't.
I know. But most people don't.
But then we had breakfast, and I want to do that.
We had a good day in Atlantic City.
It was a great day. It was a great day.
I mean, should we say what we did?
You can.
Okay. Well, so after we ran the race, and then they had like a little after party thing. So we went to the after party and found out that I did not win in my age group. Because
I was sad.
I was sad about it too. I thought I had a chance.
You did. You had a chance. You were close.
I was close. But I really thought that this year I was going to like be pretty good, but what I didn't realize is that within the age group I'm in, I'm at the higher end of my age group. So I'm racing against people who are almost 10 years younger than me.
Right.
And that's, there's a big difference.
Sure.
10 years makes a big difference.
There was a 70 to 79 age group.
Yeah.
Rough.
I'm going to be one of them.
You are?
I hope to. I really hope to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. Will you still come to my races when we're 70? And,
of course.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Of course I will.
Thank you. So then after that, we went for a walk on the Atlantic City Boardwalk, and we went and talked to a psychic.
We sure did.
Oh my gosh, we had our tarot cards read.
Yeah, and this lady, guys, legit.
Oh my God, I can't stop thinking about it.
She was the real deal, man. She had little teeny glasses. She had tarot cards that looked like they'd been through something.
Oh yeah, those tarot cards, they've seen
some things.
They've seen some things. Like they had Egyptian things on them.
Yes, but like there was one you could hardly see the face on it anymore because it was all just overused and well loved, and it's told a lot of fortunes.
Yeah, so like she let us sit with each other while we each took turns of her reading our tarot cards, and there were things that this woman said that she could not, like, ours were so very different, and they weren't vague. She said specific things.
Yeah. And it wasn't like she was like, you might do this and da-da-da. She was like, no, listen, bitch.
And she didn't ask us a lot of questions either.
No.
She just started telling. She was like,
just
oh, do you like
and
this?
she was kind of just like, sorry, not sorry. Like, this is what's happening. So you better live with that fact.
Yeah.
I really liked her confidence.
Her confidence made me feel very confident about what she was saying. And it was good. It was good and bad stuff.
Sure.
But I feel like the things that she to both of us, she said things to us that, like, there was one thing that she said to you and I fell over.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
I know.
That she could not have known. Because how could she know that you had that, but I didn't?
Right.
Like, that's the crazy thing.
I know. It was interesting. So anyway, we fully believe in psychics and recommend them highly. And now we each have one.
We each have a personal psychic.
Yes,
She's on the Atlantic City Boardwalk.
Her name's Sandy.
If you go to the Tropicana, make a left on the boardwalk.
Once you get on the boardwalk, make a left. She's right there on the left.
Yeah, go see her.
Her name's Sandy. We recommend her.
Yeah, we recommend Sandy. Go see her. And then after that, we went and had breakfast and just couldn't stop talking about it and how crazy it all was.
And we did try to play some slots, but we didn't win.
We didn't win.
But that's okay. Sandy didn't tell us we would win, so why would we think we would?
Which I feel like that would be a really easy thing for a psychic on the boardwalk of Atlantic City to tell you.
Well, I was thinking, too, like, I was like, what if it's a big conspiracy theory and she, like, partners with one of the casinos?
Her establishment doesn't look like someone who's partnered with anyone with money. So that lady lives on the boardwalk.
No. Yeah, the psychic places aren't very aesthetic. They're usually just like empty rooms.
But I feel like with this lady, it was kind of like, listen, you're here for me. Right, you're not here for the ambiance. But I mean, it wasn't terrible. She had some nice chairs.
Oh, it was fine. I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. But yeah, anyway. So, so there's that.
So we know what our future is.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
We do.
And, I don't know. What else?
I don't know. I mean, I think today's a day that's going to make you happy because it's going to get really stormy on all these vacationers
They're all
outside.
going home today. It's Sunday.
I know. You need to move because...
I'm not moving.
Okay.
Well, maybe I am.
Maybe
Sandy said I might. So.
Yeah, it's just the traffic outside because, again...
It was bad traffic?
I could see the traffic's going to be bad when I leave here and I try and go home.
Oh, okay.
Everyone listening to this is very interested in the traffic. Yeah. But you know how it is, where you just... again, going back to sleeping a little bit later, the reason I like to come over here early is because I can avoid all of that stuff later on. But now, just looking at it, I'm like, ugh.
Plus, it's going to rain, so people are going to be like, well, this isn't a beach day. This isn't a boardwalk day. We should just go home.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to sit in the traffic.
But I will say, this is not a super busy weekend, early June, because,
Okay.
The kids are still in school. So it's your pick this week for the movie. Each week, one of us chooses the movie. The other one does not know what it is.
You don't know what this movie is.
I don't.
Okay.
And you do. Are you ready to tell me about it?
I'm so excited to talk to you about it. If I could say words.
I know.
All right, let's do it.
Bye. All right, here we go.
All right, so you know how we were talking about this yesterday? Because it's hard picking a movie, and you do always think, well, what's missing? What do we need to talk about here?
Yeah.
What's on my list that can kind of fit the thing?
Sure.
And also based on the movies we've just been watching. I feel like it's been a little bit of time since I've really ticked you off with a pick.
Okay, good. Can I ask you a quick question?
You can.
A couple of weeks ago when it was your pick, you alluded to the fact that someone wanted you to watch a movie on the podcast.
Yes.
But you weren't doing it. Is it this movie?
No.
Oh, okay. So you're still making that person mad.
I'm still going to make that person very mad at me.
Okay.
I'll probably hear from her.
All right, so this is a different movie.
This is a different movie. This movie, okay, I wanted to watch it for a couple of reasons because, again, the premise of this podcast really started with this idea that we watched some really weird shit when we were kids.
Yeah.
And it was served to us as children's content, but it might have been a little bit fucked up.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like this strongly falls in that category.
Really?
And I have not seen this in many, many years. I have very vague memories of this movie, but it scared me a lot. It disturbed me, but I don't exactly know why. And I'm kind of hoping that watching it again might reveal it.
Have I seen it?
I mean, maybe, but this falls within that window that I feel like a lot of times I've seen things that you haven't because it's like early 80s.
Right.
Even
My
though
parents were still pretending that I didn't watch TV.
Yes.
Right.
They only had one kid.
Right.
They could entertain you in other ways.
Sure.
So they were not just sitting you down in front of a TV.
Got it.
So the thing you might be happy about with this movie is that it's short.
Good.
It's less than an hour.
Whoa.
Because this was a made-for-TV movie, which were very big when we were younger.
Like an after-school special?
It wasn't an after-school special, but it is a television movie. It originally aired January 17th, 1982 on NBC as something that they called, it was a 60-minute Project Peacock special.
Okay.
So Project Peacock was this series of youth-centered programming on NBC in the 80s. I actually went back on YouTube and found a promo for it, like an old promo from NBC on it. And we have to watch this on YouTube because that's the only place that this movie is fully available.
Okay.
But in the commercial for this Project Peacock thing, it was like NBC being really proud of the fact that it has created this youth-centered programming, and it included this movie that we're going to watch today, and then something called Donahue and Kids, which is exactly what you think it is. It was Phil Donahue, but it was like an audience full of kids that he's interviewing, which almost it just seems beyond parody, right? Donahue and Kids,
Sure, because he was a kid-friendly guy.
Yeah, so much so. There was a play version of Alice in Wonderland that was part of this, and it starred Meryl Streep.
Okay.
And then there was some show called How to Eat Like a Child, which when they said it, and the image that they first showed, I thought, oh, is it some sort of like about nutrition or something? But it was billed as an hour of music and comedy.
Okay.
And it had a bunch of child actors. Like maybe it was like a child actor improv group.
Interesting.
Perhaps. I don't know. They didn't give you too much. But the funny part about this is that the slogan of this thing that I watched, the promo for this Project Peacock thing was, "Our pride is showing." And I thought, it's Pride Month.
Pride Month.
It says nothing to do with Pride Month.
Right.
But NBC's Pride is showing with this.
They're proud as a peacock, baby.
They're proud as a peacock about this, about, finally making some program for the youth. Because it's not, I think the idea was it's not children.
Do you think
it's not kids.
It was an ABC after school special. Do you feel like this was their answer to that?
Maybe.
Okay.
Perhaps. According to Reddit, this was also shown a lot on Nickelodeon's Special Delivery. Do you remember Special Delivery?
Special Delivery.
I actually also went on YouTube to watch the promo. Like, remember that beginning intro they would always show for Special Delivery? So I watched that.
Okay.
And that, made me all kinds of nostalgic.
Sure.
It was also available for rental at most video stores at the time. So when I was like reading on Reddit, all of these people who remembered it were like, oh, I used to watch that always on, and I think it might have been on HBO too, because people were like, oh, it was always on this. So I think it was just like one of those movies that there just wasn't a lot of movies that could fall into that youth category.
Okay, but it wasn't specifically made for it?
Well, here's what's interesting. We're going to talk a little bit. I mean, I should probably tell you what this movie is. Like, you have no idea, do you?
No.
Okay, this movie is called The Electric Grandmother.
Oh, God. No, I've never heard of it, and I hate it.
Yes, you should.
Okay.
I think you should. It's funny. Do you know that guy who does like TikTok and Reels who goes, it was the 90s?
Yes.
Who's definitely in our age group. He has one where he talks about this movie and kind of like cracks up about it, where he's like, this weird thing. Because the thing that a lot of people remember is there's this scene in it where she makes milk come out of her fingers.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yes. Cool. So that's spoiler alert. That's going to happen in this movie. So this movie is actually based on a 1969 science fiction short story called I Sing the Body Electric. Go ahead, sing.
I sing the body electric. From Fame.
Yes, but not from Fame.
Okay.
That's actually a line from a Walt Whitman poem.
Okay.
Is where people get it from. Poem.
Okay.
But the short story was written by Ray Bradbury.
Okay. We know.
So we know him. We did Something Wicked This Way Comes, and I think we talked about.
Oh, he wrote that.
He wrote that. Okay. Yes. This movie stars Maureen Stapleton, who you will definitely recognize. It also stars Edward Herrman, who you will definitely recognize.
Yeah, Mr. Gilmore.
Yes, and it was directed by Noah Black, who you don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know, you don't care to know. But it was his story, Bradbury's story, was originally written as a teleplay in 1962 called I Sing the Body Electric and was used for an episode of The Twilight Zone. So you can imagine.
It's a weird one.
It is a weird one. It's very, very
and you
weird.
Remember it? You watched it?
We watched it a lot.
Okay.
So I remember being like freaked out by it in a certain way. Like I didn't like it, but it was on quite a bit, so I watched it quite a bit.
All right.
The story, I Sing the Body Electric, was included in a book of short stories by the same name. I went and read through a summary they had on Wikipedia, like all the stories that were in this book by Ray Bradbury, and it kind of like gave a little overview of what each of them was. And I have to say that they were pretty scary.
Was this book for kids?
The book, it doesn't seem like it was a book for kids. It was just, I mean, I wonder if young people maybe liked it because I feel like...
Well, grandmoms. Those are for kids.
Yeah, but I feel when we were younger, there was that period of time where you did read some Ray Bradbury. Like, I feel like, you know how when you were in language arts class and you would get that big textbook and it was full of a bunch of short stories? There was always a Ray Bradbury in there.
True.
You know, so I think Ray Bradbury just was something that was fed to young people. Okay. And last year, after we did Something Wicked This Way Comes, I actually got that book and started reading it because I was kind of interested. And I remember that we had kind of read it. My teacher had read it to us when we were in 4th or 5th grade. So I was like, oh, I'm interested to read this again. And it's definitely written more for young people. Sure. Like, it's not, you know.
Well, if it has kids in it, they tend to be movies for kids.
Yeah, but something that was interesting with this, so again, this very much was fed to kids. You know, people talked about when it was in the video store, it was in the children and family section. And, you know, Electric Grandma. I looked at all the advertising for it. You know, the ad that was in TV Guide, our favorite. And it looks just like this heartwarming thing. But if you go on, you know, on IMDb, where it has that parent score, and it kind of says, like, you know,
this will freak your
bad
kid out.
language, and it rates on all these different things. So it's all green. It's all good. No bad language. No, you know, whatever. Except no smoking. You know, no whatever. Except the last one is intense or scary scenes. It's red for that one, which I feel like that's worse than anything. Show a kid someone smoking a cigarette before intense and scary things, right?
Sure.
But I like I said, I cannot put my finger on
what freaked you out.
What freaked me out about it.
Well, we'll find out probably.
Yeah, and I mean, I read over the description of it. I kind of have a feeling of what it might be about it, but yeah. Another person who's in this meeting is me. You're in this meeting today.
In this meeting, yes.
The big brother from E.T. Okay. He wasn't in very much, but he was in this, and I liked him in E.T. I think that kid, like there was a period of time in my life where I was very obsessed with the movie E.T. And I feel like that, I mean, all the children in that movie were very good actors and gave very good performances, but I feel like that kid, like, you figure Gertie was Drew Barrymore. She had a huge career. Sure. I mean, even Elliot, I feel like he went away for a while, but then he's had a career. Henry Thomas, he's been in a lot of things. Sure. But this guy kind of fell off the face. Like, he really hasn't been in anything.
All-American teen.
He really was an all-American teen. But
Teen,
he
not
was,
team.
like I said, I slept late.
It's okay.
I'm a mess. Okay, moving on. This movie did receive an Emmy Award nomination for Outstanding Children's Program.
Outstanding grandmoms.
Outstanding Grandmoms. It won a Peabody Award.
Okay.
It has been recognized by Chicago International Children's Film Festival, International Film Festival for Children and Youth, American Film Festival, and the Southern California Motion Picture Council.
That's
all of that is to say, but all of that is to say,
it was approved for children.
it was approved for children, and it won awards.
Sure.
For how great it was
For children.
But youth, children, I don't know.
Yeah. What's the difference?
What's the difference? But I feel like, of course, why would any parent think twice about it's called the electric grandmother.
Sure.
Children and grandmothers, they go very well
I feel
together.
like for the most part, and I think about this often, is like TV. If it was on TV when we were younger, it was fair. It was pretty much fair game.
Yeah.
Like if it was on like broadcast TV, not like obviously cable, but if it was on like 3, 6, or 10.
Parents wouldn't think twice.
Yeah, you wouldn't even
Except
think
after a certain time. I mean, you had Gilbert Godfrey up all night coming on, and then it was like, no.
Yeah, but that was like
and Howard Stern
cable
and everything.
too, though. Wasn't it?
Was it USA?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Yeah, I guess on those channels they didn't. I do think at a certain time it was just like kids go to bed at 9:00 because you would have your shows like Punky Brewster, Silver Spoons, and everything, and then it would go to like The Fall Guy.
That was at 10, but like at 9 you would have like that's when like A Different World came on.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like you would have like the shows that were like one level up, and then 10 o'clock was like when it got into serious stuff.
Yeah, then you had to go to bed.
Fall Guy.
I don't know. What was the other one with there was The Fall Guy, and then there was some other one that I always
feel
think
like
of.
Dynasty.
Yeah, Dynasty, Dallas, all of those things. They weren't for us.
No.
At all. Like we had to go to bed so our parents could watch those things.
Sure.
Also, as far as award winning, the 10-year-old actress in this, her name is Tara Kennedy. She was nominated for a Young Artist Award for Best Actress, Young Actress in this movie.
Okay.
So,
she done anything else? Tara?
No, but her picture was not from this movie, so it looks like she's still trying to be out there. Right. But it definitely looked very headshotty. So who knows? She's still. You got to figure she's probably about our age, maybe a little bit older. When this came out, because in 1982, I mean, I would have been 5 years old.
Yeah.
So, very little when I watched this movie for sure. I mean, even if I didn't watch it right when it came out. We watched it, it sounds like they distributed this thing pretty quick because there was a dearth of children's programming that they needed to figure out some things.
Did you rent it or you think you watched it on TV?
I think it was on TV.
Okay.
I have a very clear recollection of this. Remember how when you would watch, and I was recalled this watching the special delivery thing, they would do the little promo, and at the end they would show a little card that had the name of what was coming up next. And they did the same thing on HBO. You would hear and you had to wait until that whole thing was over, and then they showed the name of what the movie was that was coming up. So I have a very vivid recollection of this name coming up and being a little bit like,
yeah, this makes my tummy hurt.
Like, I don't want to watch this, but I guess I will.
Okay.
I really don't remember a lot about this except that it kind of scared me.
Okay.
And that it disturbed me for some reason.
Sure.
So, there aren't a lot of facts about it. Like I said, I was able to find a lot of people talking about this movie online because I feel like a lot of people watched it and were impacted in some way by it.
Did you talk to your siblings about it?
I did not. I should have.
I just wondered if Heather or Eddie had a good recollection of the movie.
Eddie would have been very, very young. Yeah. My sister probably. I mean, I'd be surprised if my sister didn't remember it because she would have been a little bit. She would have been a little bit older.
Okay. Well, I have to say I know nothing about this movie, and I'm a little too tired to be mad. So,
and the other thing is it's short. Like, so you
that's
figure
what I think. I could do anything for 58 minutes.
Well, it's going to be like 47 minutes because you figure it was commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, and it's because it was made for TV. It's like that box. Oh. So it's going to be fun to watch.
TV.
It's a small TV.
All right.
Let's go watch it.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Turnabout, roundabout, something. I'm an electric grandma.
Oh, man.
What a time.
Oh my gosh, so many highs, so many lows.
I know. Guys, we cried at the end of
Yeah,
this
we did
thing.
cry, and I couldn't help it.
I did. It came out of
It
nowhere.
was just like, boom, you're crying. These old people are crying, so are you.
Yeah. Okay. I don't.
Well, okay. I have my first thought, or my first thing to say is, I think that this was like a movie that was like propaganda for computers.
Well, I had the thought watching this where it's funny because now we live in a time where artificial intelligence is an actual thing.
Yeah.
And we're probably closer to this reality than we ever were in the 80s.
Right.
Like, it just
People
didn't
probably
seem...
do have some sort of electric grandmoms.
Yeah, like they have a relationship with someone online who's like their grandma.
Or their significant other or whatever.
Whatever you need, the AI is helping you out with it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it was definitely like, computers aren't bad. You should invite them into your homes. And they can actually do all the things that you need them to do.
And they can keep all your memories for you. And they can hold on to your stuff safely.
Let's follow the money. Who funded this movie?
IBM.
We need to know.
Right.
Well, let's just start from, we did watch this on YouTube, and it had a little promo in the beginning. This little card came up that it was from a library, and you could tell that it was one of those like when we were kids. It was a reel where they would bring a film projector,
Like a projector, yeah,
and you could tell that it was a reel, and the music was real skewed and weird, but the voices weren't. So I was wondering, is that what the sound sounded like?
I wonder if the soundtrack was supposed to sound like creepy.
It was creepy.
It was creepy because it was like distorted music box.
Yes, distorted music box is exactly what it was.
And I thought that too. I was like, oh, maybe it's because it's on YouTube. But then
from film to YouTube, maybe there's some kind of weird sound thing.
But you're right. The voices weren't messed up.
Yeah, everything else was fine.
Fine.
Yeah, everybody talked fine.
And this movie was fully available. It was like 48 minutes. You were right.
Yeah,
total. And that included like a break where they had to change the film halfway through.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, and so you could hear like that like sound that kind of happened when you watch it.
You didn't hear the like the end of a film.
No, it's so crazy that we are. But like, if I were to tell my children that when I was a kid, they would put like a film projector in the classroom and show a movie on a screen that they would pull down in front of the classroom.
Right. And someone had to know how to load a piece of film onto a reel.
Right, the teachers did.
Yeah, no,
that was just something teachers needed to know how to do. Right. And I can see the tins that they would come in, and the teacher would get them from the library, and you knew you were going to watch they would get Kirby, the janitor, would bring the film projector into the classroom. Sure. And then the teacher would put it on the
reel. I guess
reel.
how many could the school have had?
How many actual movies?
No, how many projectors?
Yeah,
probably just like one.
And you probably had to rent it.
Yeah,
like,
you probably had to sign up for
it.
it. And you're like, look, on June 23rd, I'm going to need
and I'm going to show the red balloon for the 5th time.
Right. Yeah, interesting. Okay. So
this movie starts with the narration. We didn't talk about the movie. The movie starts with the narrator, who you see is like a man, is an old man, and he's not talking. You just hear this voiceover narration, and he's talking about, it was that wonderful. I can remember that wonderful year that our electric grandmother came to live with us, and I remember when she was brought to life.
Wonderful year. My mom died.
Right. He does say it was like a terrible week.
Yeah.
But they show him terrible week. But he says like the first thing he says is like, I was the oldest and not supposed to cry.
I know.
And I was like, we're going to hit you with the 80s right away.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's 3 kids. The oldest is the boy from E.T. Tom. The middle child is a girl named Agatha.
She's middle?
I thought she was middle.
Okay.
Or you think Timothy? And then Agatha.
Tim, Tom, and Agatha. I don't know.
Tim, Tom, and Agatha.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, there's 3 kids, and in the very beginning of the movie, a doctor is coming over because their mom dies in the night.
He's real sick. And then the doctor walks into the room and then walks right back out. Like, there's nothing that could be done.
No.
Clearly.
But, it's a little bit disturbing because the dad is really, like he has this look on his face when he's looking at the kids, like he doesn't know what to say
what
to
he's
them.
gonna do, how he could possibly go on,
Right.
because he's an 80s dad.
Okay, let me also just, I'm gonna do this periodically while we're talking about it. Children's movie, this is what we're watching. Let's start out with your mom dying.
Sure.
Okay.
The biggest fear in your whole life.
Yes. Yes. So then they're like, they don't really know what to do. The dad is just kind of just trying to move, not move on necessarily, but you can tell he's an 80s dad, and he's just like, I don't really know what to do. And their aunt shows up, Aunt Clara.
Yeah, for no reason. Aunt Clara did not need to be in this.
Aunt Clara did not need to be in this, except to be
she
like...
was just like against it.
Well, I also think it kind of shows they don't have anyone else in their lives. Like, their only family that they had that was going to maybe come and help them was this Aunt Clara.
Right.
But I think she comes, and from the beginning, Aunt Clara's a bitch. Mm-hmm. She's just pointing out things that are wrong with all of them right away.
Yeah, and she's real upset that they're still sad about their mom. She's like, can we see some happy faces, please, people? Like, basically just like...
Right. And it's like, it's very clear that this is like the week their mom died.
Right. This is all very, very fresh.
Right.
And then a helicopter flies over the house in some guerrilla marketing tactics.
They're like with these rainbow parachutes, some things fall out from the helicopter.
They're like gold bricks.
Gold lubes.
Lubes?
They're
Is that what they call them?
I don't know. That's what I'm calling them.
Well, but they each have their names on them.
Right. And they all fit together and make a heart. And I have a very vivid recollection. This I remembered, and I remembered there was something about it I didn't like, and I remembered immediately when we started watching it, because what happens when they put them all together with their names is the heart starts glowing and talking to them.
Oh, right.
And it's like, hello.
It's very expensive, very targeted advertising.
Well, you can't get over the marketing of it. I can't get over the creepy fucking voice that comes out of this thing. Didn't you find that scary?
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I was more concerned about the fact that these people got a list of all the moms who died. And they were like, put them on a list, puts their name on some hearts. We're going to drop them in their yard.
And all it does is it tells them, like, we're from Fanucci's electric grandmothers extraordinaire or something.
Yeah, come on down and you can get one. We have them in stock or something like that, basically.
Right. So the kids are like, well, we got to check it out. Agatha's skeptical from the beginning. She's like, I'm not interested in this.
Yeah.
The dad's like, what else are we going to do? Hang out with Aunt Clara? Sure. Like, you guys want to do it. I'm here to make you happy as your dad. So we're going to go to town and see if we can find this place. So they go to this old warehouse.
Yeah, it's not a thriving business.
No, it's like in just like a weird warehouse, and they go in, and this guy is working there, who I think was on the show Benson.
Yeah. Was he?
I think so.
I don't know, Mr. Fettucci or whatever.
Fettuccine? I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, I can make you guys an electric grandmother. Now, here's this thing. They stipulate. He's like, all right, we're going to make you this electric grandmother. It's a 30-day trial. For free. If you don't like it, send it back. But that alludes to the fact that maybe that the dad had to pay after 30 days.
Oh, I'm guessing so. They don't just give away electric grandmoms.
I mean, but it seems like they were. It seems like it was like a service.
I think it's an advertisement for a business.
I want to know about the thing, because then all of a sudden the dad's smacked with a bill later on. Like, what the fuck?
But then it's been 30 days and
they love her.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So they get to choose stuff about the grandmom. Like, there's like a wall of hair.
I know. It's all in spools.
Yeah. And they can like feel it and determine what color they want it to be and everything like that. And there's an eyeball kaleidoscope.
Yes.
That,
and then there's like,
around and shows all the different eye colors.
Yeah. And then there's like these like shadows of different bodies, and they say they want her grandma to be squishy.
Right. But not too fat.
Right. So they pick that, and then the voice for her voice, they don't pick the voice, but what they do is they all have to talk into this like, end of a trombone, I guess.
Right.
Sorry. It's okay. That one caught you off guard. But they all have to speak into this trombone thing,
right.
And they have to yell their names, and even the dad does.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, like the grandma's voice comes out of the speaker. It's like, hello.
Notice she says her rhyme, which is like, ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lies. In a couple of days, you'll get a big surprise. And what happens? They all go home, and the helicopter comes back, and it drops off a sarcophagus.
A fully fucking large sarcophagus.
On like a cot.
Yeah, like it has legs, so it's not just like a sarcophagus on the snow because it's winter time.
Yes.
Throughout this,
Right.
so they land. None of their in one shot it seems like they're in a neighborhood. In other shots it seems like in the middle of nowhere. But this full helicopter drops this thing off in their backyard.
Right. And then
And
I don't know, they open it up.
And the girl has a key. They gave at the factory. They gave Agatha a key, and she
right.
puts it in her belly.
But it's very like it's Egyptian.
Yes.
And then they pull like when they take the lid off, there's like a
mask on her,
like a thing, and
which makes me think like, is there magic involved with this, or is it just science?
Yeah, they said it's a robot. I thought it was a robot.
Yeah, I thought it was science.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not magic,
Not magic.
or lore.
No. So then, why does Egyptian stuff have to be involved?
Yeah, I don't know. Couldn't she just come in a box?
I would
She's
think
a product.
She's a product. Where's the styrofoam nuggets in there?
So they get home, and Aunt Claire is like, absolutely fucking not.
Right. Like, what is this weird shit?
And then she's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
She leaves.
Right away. No questions. And everybody else is like, great.
See ya, Clara. They're like, bye.
Yeah, they're like, already. Electric Grandma's doing some good shit.
And then, so the first thing she does is she like cooks them breakfast, and it's like all of their favorite foods.
Right. She
And
just
she
knows.
all of their favorite foods.
And then for their drinks.
And she knows all their favorite drinks. And those drinks, they come out of her finger.
Which is gross.
It's disgusting.
And
there's
then they
one
drink
scene
it.
where there's one scene where she like deposits the milk with her pointer finger.
There she
and
does.
Agatha just drinks it right away. It doesn't look cold.
It can't be.
How could it be?
How could it
She
be?
have a refrigeration system in her.
I mean, maybe.
She's got a tank of milk, a tank of hot cocoa, a tank of orange juice.
Yeah, who's cleaning out those tanks and putting
refilling them?
Yeah.
Come on.
Unless your body can just produce it.
I just put finger milk, warm, question mark.
Because also there's warm stuff, and then because she also does hot chocolate, which I assume would be hot.
Uh-huh. Sure.
And then she's got orange juice, which I hope would be cold.
And milk cold. You want cold milk?
Nobody wants a warm milk
No.
unless it's bedtime.
And then, so she's like getting used to the family, and it's weird because there's a lot of time spent on like hairbrushing.
Yeah, hairbrushing is a big part of this.
And she's like, Agatha picked her hair. Mm-hmm. Like, it was very specific and intentional in the beginning that you knew that Agatha picked her hair,
Yes.
the grandmom's hair. And then the grandmom is like fully just like shitting on her hair. She's like, my hair is disgusting.
Right. She's like, I wish I did not have this hair.
Right. And you're also like, why does this have to be here?
Right.
And Agatha's like, I think your hair is beautiful. And like, is like brushing it and stuff like that. And the grandmom's like, ew, gross. It's not. It's disgusting.
But then the grandma's like, well, maybe I can brush your hair. And then Agatha's like, no, you're not my mom. Only my mom can do that.
Right.
Right. But also, brushing of hair is kind of...
It takes up a lot of time for a movie that's less than an hour.
Yeah, I'd say that there's significant minutes spent of just seeing the little girl brushing her hair, this whole brushing hair scene, which unlocked a memory for me, which was when I was in middle school for being confirmed, like for my confirmation. We had to do community service. So we went to like a nursing home.
Brush someone's hair.
We had to brush the little people's hair.
No.
And it was not good, Kim.
Oh my God.
Such dandruff. And like things happening on their heads.
Oh,
It was not a good thing.
Oh my God.
I know.
Terrifying.
So like when she's brushing like that long gray hair, I was just like, oh God, memory unlocked.
Jesus.
It was so bad. I feel like they split us into like, because it was my whole confirmation
Someone
class.
else have to clip toenails. Like what?
We had to do the women's nails.
And to paint them?
Yes, and brush their hair. And the boys went and played board games with the men.
That's not okay.
I know.
Make the boys brush their grandma's hair.
There was so much about that was not good about us going to that nursing home when I was that age. I was not mentally prepared because a lot of the people have problems.
I think I've told you this before. My sister had to go too, like with Girl Scouts.
Okay.
And they made like salt dough ornaments.
Okay.
Because it was at Christmas time,
Sure.
I assume. And my sister said that the older people got confused and started eating the ornaments. And my sister came in and was like hysterically cried about it and like inconsolable. And my mom was like, I don't know what to tell you.
Your mom was a nurse.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, there was a woman who was eating cigarettes because this was, the 80s Yeah, this would have been like the late 80s.
Yeah.
And they were just, you could just fully smoke cigarettes in there.
Everywhere.
So there were just like these, I remember there being like old people who were just like clutching their packs. Like there was this one woman who was like clutching a pack of cigarettes and like in one hand, and in her other hand she was clutching a rosary.
Oh
And
my
it was like, and then there's another woman who was just sitting by the ashtray and she was eating the cigarette butts, and the people had to keep saying, being like, no, don't eat the cigarette butts. And,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, like it was messed up. And there was a woman who, this is again, like the orderlies maybe weren't paying enough attention to the people. And I remember one woman fell like in the bathroom.
Oh my God.
And
while you were there?
And one of the girls who was in my group had to like pick this woman up. And I remember she was crying. Like this poor girl was like crying.
I am sure.
She was like, and I remember her just being like, I just want to go home. I want my mom to come get me right now. Like, they should never have made us do this.
This is like a true portrait of what the 80s was like for kids. It's a horror story.
I know. They're like, no, kids, get in that nursing home. The old people will like to see you young kids.
And then you get around your own grandma and you're like, what the fuck's this lady gonna do? Like, you get a little nervous.
Well, no, I feel like my grandma was so, like, not that.
No, I know. Mine either. But still, like, I mean, you know.
It was just sad and, like, not good. Because, again, you think, like, your grandma is fine, and then all of a sudden you go to this place, and these are grandmas that, like, nobody can take care of.
Sure.
They're in a home.
Aww.
So it was bad. But anyway, back to this movie that also unlocks every childhood fear. It really is. It really is. But the other thing I thought about was, I think it's interesting that it's an electric, and it's probably because they didn't want the implications of the sex thing, that it's an electric grandma and not an electric mom.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, what? Like,
wouldn't the dad be like, well, if you can do the grandma.
Yeah, can't you make her blonde?
Yeah.
Do I get to pick her boobs?
Right. Yeah, like it seems.
Yeah.
They don't even go there with it.
No.
But I bet you that's why. They were like, it can't be an electric mom.
Right, because the dad's going to try to have sex with it.
Right. I mean, the dad may have anyway.
Oh, stop.
We don't know.
No, I know.
We don't know. But yeah, so it's just really, really strange.
And like one of her things is she does the laundry
on a kite.
On a kite string, and so that the clouds can wash.
Yeah, those clothes
the clouds can wash it, and the wind can dry it, or something like that. And
so those clothes are dirty.
Yes. Grandma hates doing laundry.
Right. So all those kids are going to school with stank underwear.
Right.
Yeah, but the other thing is that going back to the dad, what does he get out of it? Well, he gets a servant. He gets an electric servant because she's making all the food. She's cleaning the house. She's doing all the laundry.
Right.
Because, in the 80s, that dad could never do any of that stuff. No. So he really needed the help.
And then he takes care of the kids. Or no, the grandmom takes care of the kids. And she's like putting the little Timothy to bed.
Right.
And she like sings him a song.
And he's like, I love you.
Yeah.
He's in love. The boys fall hard real quick.
Right. And then she's basically just like, or he's like, well, you're never going to leave us, right? And the grandmom's like, no, never going to leave you. Which also, if you're on a 30-day trial, you don't tell the kids you're not leaving.
Right.
You know you're here for a temporary
Well, this is how they get you. This is how Fananucci gets you. Right. He's like, I know the kids are gonna fall in love. Mm-hmm. Dad's gonna have no choice. Right. That dad has no wife around. Right. He doesn't want to clean that house. He's gonna pay. Fananucci can charge whatever he wants.
Right. So Agatha overhears that, and she's like, "You're a liar." Right. And she like runs off, and then the grandma.
But the grandma's also real smart. Like she knows about Shakespeare, and she's also she could. The thing she talks about a lot is like, I hold all of your memories. Yeah. So I listen to everything that you're saying and I store it in my memory. So I know everything about you. And the one boy is like, well, if you know everything about me, what did I say at 3:30 today? Oh, yeah. And she presses on like her under boob. Uh-huh. And then she reaches into her pocket and she's got a hot muffin in there. And she gives the muffin to the boy and she's like, open it. And he opens it up like a fortune cookie. And there's a piece of paper inside that says what he said at 3:30, which was Holy Toledo or something.
Yeah. But why on a hot muffin?
Why? Because she's a grandma?
Hot muffin stores knowledge. I read that.
I guess it's like that's how grandmas connect with people is through muffins.
Through food.
Through food? Maybe? I don't know. But
okay, go ahead.
Okay. So then everybody's really happy, but Agatha just is not coming around to. She's very much like, and everything's actually going very well with the boys and the dad.
Mm-hmm. They love her. They're playing they're playing in the snow. They're all happy again. They're fine. They've gotten over the mom.
It's just like, this is boys.
Right.
The boys
right,
are like, great.
right.
We have someone else here. We'll just love her. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, and the grandma just like power back up. She has to be plugged in, but before she gets plugged in, she does this weird dance to like, it's like tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and like she
does the robot. But like poorly.
Yeah. And
like
then
an old
she sits
lady
in her rocking chair and she's basically like powering up for the night.
She's powered down, but she's plugged into the wall and she just like rocks back and forth. Like that's how
Yeah,
she's.
it's
really, really creepy. So it gets to be the 30 days.
Yes.
And she's like, all right, well, I have to go because in order for me to stay, everybody has to be on board with me staying. And unfortunately, your dumb bitch of a sister, she's not into it. So I have to go. I know you guys all love me.
Yeah, she like calls the sister out in front of the whole family, and like the brothers are just like, "Fuck you, Agatha!"
Right,
they're
so
gonna make
mad.
her go away.
Right. We love her.
Right. They get so mad, and then poor Agatha is just like, "What? I have questions." Like, I'm sorry.
Like, I'm sorry. She's a robot.
Yeah.
Like, my mom just died.
Right.
I'm not
okay.
I'm not okay with this. So then Agatha's like running away because she's upset and she almost gets hit by a car. But Electric Grandma saves her. But in doing so, gets hit by the car. She does this weird roll in the street.
She stops, and rolls.
Yeah, after
down
being
the
hit.
street.
And then the little girl, Agatha, just starts crying. She's like, not like mommy, not like mommy.
Yeah.
You can't die too. Which I'm like, you didn't like her. And all of a sudden now this. But then you find out that was really her fear.
That's what her fear is. Her fear is that
I can't love anyone.
I can't love anyone again because they're going to go away. Just like my mom did. Because my mom said she wasn't going to go away, but she's a lying liar who lies.
And she died. She died right like that in that room. But then, because she's a robot, she like beep boops up. And she goes over to Agatha, and Agatha's like, you are still here. You will never go away, will you?
Yeah.
And Grandma's like, nope.
I won't even go away when you're old and childish and small.
Right.
What?
Which is just like, oh no.
Yeah,
like,
she fully says, she's like, I can't be killed. She says, I cannot be killed.
Right.
Agatha.
I cannot.
Looking at you, Agatha.
Right. And that's a little, if there was a pause after that, it could be a little creepy in the delivery of that. Well, then this is the scene that when it, like right before it happened, I knew it was going to happen. And I knew as a kid, it really upset me a lot and disturbed me.
Yes.
So they're outside.
They all love her now.
Because
she saved Agatha and they're all running in the snow.
And then the voiceover is like, and, then I forget, to talk about like growing, but you don't recognize that time has passed because the grandma doesn't age. Right. So the grandma's just standing there. You've just seen all these children running, and you see the oldest boy is running towards the grandma. And then all of a sudden it cuts to just the grandma, and then a grown man comes to her and hugs her, and you realize that that's the little boy. And it happens with all three of the kids. It's like all of a sudden they're little kids, and now they're like college age children ready to leave. Leaving the house to go to college. And I think when I was young and watched that, it really upset me because it made me feel like, oh no, their childhood. No, like I just felt, because I didn't understand that it was meant to show that time had gone. I thought that she made it just happened. Like all of a sudden they were older, and I remember feeling like, oh no, like their childhood is gone.
Oh, I see.
They don't have that anymore.
It was sad.
It was really, really sad.
Yeah.
And then so then they all go, and then she walks away with the dad, and the dad's like, well, I guess you're getting out of here now. And she's like, yeah, we've had a good time, huh?
Yeah, that poor dad.
Yeah, like the dad definitely didn't find an electric mommy.
No.
Like he's still just by himself.
Right, but that's not the end of the movie. So she goes back to the factory, and she, like, you see her in a room with all these other grandmoms.
Right, and she's like a big bore because she's just talking. Not all the other grandmas are quiet, and
they're
she's
all
talking.
knitting in the rocking chairs, and they're all telling stories. She was like, I'll have so many stories to tell when I go back to the
factory.
Yeah.
And she's telling them all these things, but she says this thing where she goes, I almost think that I love them sometimes.
Yeah, like I have feelings.
I feel like sometimes I feel like I almost have feelings for them. And I realize that and I wonder if there's a difference between just being there for someone or really loving them. Like there has to be a difference or something like that. So it's like, that's the thing. Is she just someone who is just there and was like, but did she really? She wasn't, like, to me that implies like she didn't really love them. She was just someone who was there.
She was doing a job.
She was a machine that just was there.
Yeah.
Well, then the old man shows up, and that's the oldest brother, and he's like, yeah, we're old and childish and small again.
And we need you.
And we need
Get
you.
in here, Grammy.
So then all of a sudden, you cut to the outside of their house,
right?
And you hear the helicopter and the sarcophagus, and
they all live together.
They all live together again.
In the same house.
That's going to happen to me and my brother and sister, and it's going to happen to you and your brother and sister. You're all to live together in your childhood house again. So,
and they have no families to speak of, even though Agatha was a doctor.
Yeah, well, he tells the grandma when he sees him, he's like, well, Agatha grew up when she was a great doctor, and the other one built a moon base.
Something on the moon.
Something on the moon, and he's like, and I wrote 16 books.
Right. She's like, oh, I can't believe all this time has passed. And
but they don't talk about their families.
Nope, no mention of families or their own children or anything like that.
Because who's going to marry them, Kim?
And truly, yeah,
they're fucked up. Like these kids are all not only did their mom die when they were young, but then they had some kind of weird electric grandmother that lived with them.
But don't you feel like they would have brought electric grandmom back for their kids? You just don't think they had kids.
I don't think.
Or they would have gotten a different electric grandmom because they don't have one on that side. Their mom's dead.
Right.
So wouldn't they have utilized the services again if they were so enamored with them the first time?
I would have. I would be like, I need my electric grandma. I have a baby. I need some help.
Yeah. Or I want my own electric grandma to meet my children.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But she shows up in his house, and these old people are, and I think because you are thinking of them in the context of them as children, you see the old people as children. And they are a little bit like childish because they glow, like these huge smiles on their face when the grandma comes. And this is when you and I just started crying.
Yeah, for no reason.
Like all of a sudden, because I think that's what it was. It was like these like old people who were still children.
Small and childish.
Yeah, and they were just happy to see their grandmom.
Yeah.
Even though they're older than she is, I think.
And we're old and tired too.
I know, but Jesus Christ, again, this was a children's movie that was watched in schools on a fucking film. It was a special delivery.
I am very upset by it. Like, I mean, and it was so short and so much happened. So many disturbing things happened. And I don't know.
I told you, I didn't know exactly what it was, but I've had this on my list of movies for this show, for a podcast, because I just remember being really like not liking it 100, like it making me feel weird when I was a kid.
I can't imagine showing this to my nieces and nephews.
No.
Or your children are older. Like, I can't imagine.
I don't know if I'd show it to my kids. I feel like they'd get sad by it or something.
Like, and
because it talks about, it's a lot about death.
So
like people are going to die. People are going to get old.
But also you should get a computer, because it'll store your memories for you. IBM.
Yeah, but then you think, like, is the grandma going to help them to die? Like, she's going to hang out with them and help, because it's like, I'll be there when you're old and childish and small to help you to that neck, because she was there to help them through that first phase until they left the house. Now she's going to be there to help them to death, Kim.
And then she's going to be all alone. Does she get reissued to other people?
No, because she's all full of memories from them. And she's not, but they're all dead, and they obviously have no families or who care about them.
Yeah, so what's the point of her having these memories?
No, they should just shut her down. Right. Maybe that's when they just take her offline. They're like, well, there's nobody else left to love you from that family.
Empty her milk canisters and put her to sleep. Oh, they'd have to.
They'd have to. That milk's gone sour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so there it is. I mean, I'm glad that you've seen it and we can talk about it. And I'm glad that I've seen it again, so I know I can really put a finger on what it was that made me upset.
Put a milk finger on it.
I can put a milk finger on it. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, the 80s.
So
what a time.
What a time to be alive.
That's right. What a time to grow up.
Sure. So you have had the task of like connecting this to Kurt Russell.
Yep.
And you did it?
Because guess what?
What?
It's a direct connect.
No freaking way.
Yep.
And
Ed Herman was the husband in Overboard.
Oh, yeah.
With Kurt Russell.
That's right.
Yeah, Tofuti Klein.
Okay.
I know. I first was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no.
Wow, good job.
Yeah. I was pretty excited about it.
that.
Who knew?
Right.
Who knew? Not me.
Not me.
Yeah. So there it is. The Electric Grandmother. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube and it's only 45 minutes.
It doesn't take that much of your time. And I really feel like this tells you what we were working with. Like, if you're like, it wasn't that bad. The 80s weren't that crazy.
Yeah.
No, they were. Watch this.
Well, I feel like there's all those things online now that's talking about Gen X.
Yeah.
And talking about how, like, no, don't mess with Gen X.
We're bulletproof.
We're bulletproof. And I feel like this is why. Kids today, millennials,
You have no idea.
those alphas, you have no idea. You guys are so fucking coddled.
So weak, so soft.
We had to watch a movie when we were children, they're like, watch this movie, face your mortality.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like all those movies, I mean, like, you know, Disney parents started dying in our movies.
I know. This is like first scene. 2 minutes in, Mom dies.
Mom's dead. Check it off the list.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So check it out if you'd like. Remember why Gen X is the best.
Yeah.
And watch this movie. But you should also, you can also go back and listen to the library of our other episodes, which cover lots of different 80s movies. Some obscure like this one, others not so obscure.
Sure. And if you are, I will say this, as an oldest child, I will say that if you are the oldest child, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad.
Yeah.
Like, do it. Let yourself be sad.
Yeah, be confident.
Right. Be confident in that and know that you can still be a good older sibling, even if you're a little sadsy sometimes.
That's right. But I'm also going to say this.
What?
Don't be controversial and, try and sneak a peek at the boobs of your...
Don't say that.
of your electric grandmother.
It's all you. I knew it was you the whole time. All right. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. We love you.
Goodbye.
Controversial.